Hi guys, this is Zoro, and that's the second part of the video where I will show the picture behind the SRK modified project and the cold steel SRK cpm3v, which as you have already seen in my other video, and but as was for the Scrama, and that's the same video for the SRK, I wanted to show some picture of the knife and of the work in progress that are behind that project. And yeah, that basically was the knife brand new, as I bought it from a cutlery, and I've done myself those images, those photos of the knife. It's called still cpm3v. So that's basically was the knife, brand new from the box, and I've used it, done some tests of it, some chopping test over here, and yeah, the knife was quite good, but I had some problem with the handle. So that's the first problem with the knife, as you hope that you can see well on the pictures. I've done those myself. Basically, the sheath was for the old SRK, because the old SRK in House 8 or SK5 was with a bigger ricasso, while the new one, the new version of the SRK, has a very small ricasso over there. And yeah, that's basically the first issues that show that basically cold steel probably has a lot of old sheath for the cold steel and didn't make a new version of the sheet when they change the project of the knife. And yes, that's an important detail to show. And yeah, basically I've done some other tests. I actually, of course, use it in mud and for other use. And yeah, that was the other knife. And I take with him in a few trekking, also for hunting some mushrooms, which I like a lot. That's the SRK in the woods with some mushroom, and yeah, basically I made myself a stick with it, and that's with the other cold steel I own as of now, which is the Spartan. I had other cold steel over the year, but as of right now I only have those two knives that you see in the picture. And yeah, as I was saying, and basically this is the picture of the knife before I send it to Giuseppe. As you guys can see here, the sheet actually has some scratches of the use, and if you remember all the noise that made that knife, the tongue was moving inside the handle quite a lot. And basically, if you can see over here, the rubber handle was kind of ruined in some part of it because of some chopping. As you guys can see over here, the rubber is actually a little bit ruined, scratches and so on. And yeah, that picture here show quite well the state of the rubber handle. And yes, then I send this knife to Giuseppe, and that's I don't know if you guys can see, that's the space between the tongue and the rubber over here. Yeah, that picture show well that space. And basically water, dust and other things came inside the handle and made the movement a little bit bad in my opinion. And also of course the use chopping etc made all that movement worse. Yeah, that's the blade. That was the blade of the knife. That detail is actually nice because Giuseppe made a new ricasso over here for actually sharpen the knife. And if you can see on the images, this portion right here is kind of different now. He has done a new over here to facilitate the resharpen of the knife because the original one was too small. And yes, then I sent this knife with the scrama to Giuseppe, and yeah, basically the picture from here forward were made by Giuseppe himself, and of course I have his permission to use that images and for some review and this video over here. So this is the knife as Giuseppe received it, and he actually cut the blade. That's the original sheath and handle of the SRK. Of course it's empty inside because the knife right now has a new sheath, kydex sheath, and a new handle, but that was the original images made by Giuseppe when he cut the handle of the SRK. And I don't know if you can see well, probably not because the light is not quite good today because outside is raining of course, but yeah, maybe I don't know if you can see well all the details, but there are a lot of oxidation on the tongue right here. Come on, focused. Yeah, now you can see. That's all oxidation. So actually the ducts and all the oxidation didn't actually go inside the tank only from this portion over here, but also from the hole at the end of the tongue. And yeah, that's all oxidation over here. And I don't know if you can see well in these images, but the tank over here is asymmetric. It's not the same from the back to the guard. So that was the tongue, the handle. Sorry for the bad light, but that's today. And this is the original images made by Giuseppe. I will zoom in the tongue because it's all full of oxidation. That's all oxidation, and the other side was also like that. And yeah, basically that's all oxidation all over the tongue, and it was quite bad, as I was saying, at the end of the tongue. That's all ruined basically. And also on the other side that was the same thing. And yes, all oxidation over here. That's quite bad for a knife. Oxidation over here, oxidation over here, and there was some dirt right there. And yes, that's basically what Giuseppe find out when he cut the rubber handle of the SRK. And that's basically my favorite images of the whole process. And I asked him, Giuseppe, made the picture when you cut the handle of the SRK, because I wanted to see quite well how is the tongue inside, because in my opinion there are some some oxidation that is going on the tongue, because the knife is cpm3v, which is not which is not super resistant to actually oxidation. It's a carbon steel, of course, and yes, that's basically what I find out. And yeah, I love it, and it's my favorite images of that process, because it show quite well all the problem of the SRK. Then he of course had to do something for the tank, because it was full of oxidation, and he actually sandblasted. And I don't know if you can see well, but there are still some spots of oxidation over here and over here and here basically, because that was actually quite deep, and he said to me that he wasn't able to actually remove it all, because he had to put the tang with the sandpaper, and that was not worth it, because the tongue will be all covered with the epoxy glue, and basically the sandblasted process removed almost all of the oxidation, but it was quite deep, and you can see the remain portion of it, as it was some sort of pitting process of the steel. And yes, that's the images of the whole tongue. It was also oxidate all over here, and was then sandblasted by Giuseppe. And that's what I was saying before. The other problem that he found out about the SRK project, and that problem is that the tongue is not symmetric between the two portions. That's the back of the knife, that's the edge over there. As you guys can see well, the steel is bigger over here than over there, and that's a problem, because of course he has to make a custom handle for it, and he said to me at the beginning of the process that he would be able to make a nice micarta handle with a spacer inside, also micarta, and then the guard will be a piece of carbon fiber. And of course the problem is the guard, the carbon fiber, because he has to stick over there, and the carbon fiber, of course he has to make the hole inside asymmetric for actually be able to fit well with the tongue of the knife. So it wasn't so easy as you guys can think, that sort of process, because the asymmetric of the tongue, and in this picture you can see well he put some sort of